Well, I think actually the FTSE 100 response today was actually largely positive to news of May's departure. And I think the reason for that is that, Theresa May has been unable to deliver Brexit. Her leadership, I think, has been very weak and very poor. And with a new prime minister coming in probably in late July, I think there's an opportunity to really reinvigorate the Brexit process. And I think with a Brexiteer prime minister, someone who actually voted for Brexit in the June 2016 referendum, that there is a far better prospect of actually getting Brexit across the finish line, something that Theresa May was spectacularly unable to do.
How do you think the markets should be interpreting in this? Do you think they should be excited just in terms of the fact that with Theresa May out and a successor there in her place, that they're more likely to get a deal done? Do you think the markets should be excited about that?
Well, I'm not sure whether the prospects for a deal with the EU have increased. After all, the European Union has ruled out any further renegotiation of the EU withdrawal agreement. I think the prospects for a no-deal Brexit certainly have increased significantly as a result of today's announcement. And I think the leading Brexiteer candidates, such as Boris Johnson, for example, are strongly considering the prospect of a no-deal Brexit. But I think one thing is certain, is that Brexit will take place by October the 31st. So there is real certainty there. Let's see if there's any move by Brussels to open up the negotiations again. So far, they've not signaled that. And if that is indeed the case, then certainly I think Britain will be heading for a no-deal Brexit. I think the markets have already factored that in. I think Britain will do just fine under a no-deal scenario as the world's fifth largest economy. And I think that many of the leading Brexit candidates for the leadership of the Conservative Party favor a no-deal scenario. So I think the likelihood of that has significantly increased.
Now, I know you just mentioned Boris Johnson. Any other names that you're thinking about, or that you've heard, or that you think could succeed Theresa May?
Well, certainly Dominic Raab, the former Brexit secretary, is another strong contender. You also have Sajid Javid, the Home Secretary, in the running. Jeremy Hunt, the Foreign Secretary. Although in the case of both Hunt and Javid, they both actually voted for Remain in the 2016 referendum, and that is significant here. But you're also going to see other, Brexiteer figures, Michael Gove, for example, Esther McVey, Andrea Leadsom, throwing their hats into the ring, possibly also Liam Fox, the International Trade Secretary. I would think that the majority of candidates will be pro-Brexit candidates, Brexiteers who supported the 2016 referendum vote in favor of Brexit. And I think that, the outcome will be almost certainly that you are going to have a Brexiteer prime minister who is going to be far more determined than Theresa May was in her position to advance Brexit and ensure that Brexit takes place, respecting the will of 17.4 million Britons.
Now, you said in your notes that you sent over that you expect a warmer special relationship between the U.S. and the U.K. once Theresa May departs. Why is that?
Yes, I think so. I think the relationship between Theresa May and Donald Trump has been a rather cold relationship. Theresa May is not a particularly pro-American politician. She doesn't take a great deal of interest, I think, in U.S.-U.K. relations in general. I think on the Brexit side, among the leading candidates, especially if you look at figures such as Boris Johnson, for example, very pro-American in outlook, far more willing to work closely with the Trump administration. I think there's going to be a very different dynamic in place once Theresa May steps aside in late July. And I would expect to see a significantly warmer U.S.-U.K. partnership in the post-Theresa May era.
All right, Nile Gardiner, thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.